welcome back to We the People Reporting Episode 2. Now, this is going to be a shorter clip, and I'm going to go ahead and make this this short reporting based on what it keeps being put out there as this Ukrainian phone call impeachment process, that this is just like constant news. I'm over here watching the news. I'm, keep seeing this situation come up, and this is where it all begins. Now, here's the problem that I'm seeing on a daily basis, is that Adam Schiff and the Democratic Party constantly are saying that President Trump asked a favor of the Ukrainian president to investigate Joe Biden and the Ukraine deal, and he did it for political influence and gain to his presidency for 2020. I keep seeing these accusations in this way, exactly like that. Everyone cares. Do you think Democrats keep saying? Do you think it's okay for a president to ask a foreign country to investigate his political candidate? It's a straw man argument. It's a loaded question because it's a lie in itself. Last time on episode one, if you remember, I read the transcript, but I'm not going to read the whole thing. But I'm going to go over this transcript, this one section in here, and discuss this, because they also keep saying that that the president withheld foreign aid as over the head of the Ukrainian president, therefore pressuring him. This whole thing blows me away. How a Democratic Democratic Party who sits in Congress, who represents the people, can literally lie about this phone call. Like, again, as I mentioned before, I'm not a fan of President Trump. I don't like him personally. That's irrelevant to the fact of what he's doing as president. That's fine. He's only got, either if you don't like him, vote him out. He's got a year left. Or if he gets reelected, actually the people will speak again. But that's not the point. The point for me is there's so much lies and corruption. And I just say to you guys who are watching, get the phone call, be fair, look at it, examine the transcript from the phone call, read it, examine it, and be honest about it. I mean, you can see the lies, which I'm going to point out. I'm going to show you a clip of what Shiff said, and we're going to go over this and look at the phone call, because this keeps bringing up, and what bugs me is that the Republicans on the other side, when they hear the Democrats create this scenario, then there's never pushback saying, no, that's not what it says, or say, show me where it says that, and here's the transcript, show me where it is. They never do that. They never push back. They let them say it, and then they move on, or they keep talking about it without even pushing back to what's really was in the phone call. And that just drives me crazy, because I have it right here. I'm looking at it. I'm saying, where does it say this? Where are they saying? Where is President Trump saying, do me a favor, investigate the Bidens about the Ukraine scandal because I need dirt on him. Do it now. It's unbelievable. In fact, Biden isn't even mentioned until paragraphs later after the initial favor, which we're going to take a look at. But I want to show you what Shiff said about this mafia tactic type of thing, and you can hear for himself what I'm saying, how they spin it and turn it, this lie about getting dirt on his opponent. Watch what Shiff says here.
What those notes reflect is a classic mafia-like shakedown of a foreign leader. They reflect a Ukrainian president who was desperate for U.S. support, for military support to help that country in a hot war with Putin's Russia, and at the same time a president of the United States who immediately after the Ukraine president expresses the need for further weapons, tells the Ukraine president that he has a favor to ask. I have a favor I want to ask you. What is that favor? Of course, the favor is to investigate his political rival, to investigate the Bidens. And it's clear that the Ukraine president understands exactly what is expected of him.
All right, if you notice what Shiff said, this mafia tactics, he says the same thing, that basically President Trump pressured the Ukraine to withholding this aid, pressure Ukraine to investigate his political opponent, to get dirt on him. And if you remember that in the so-called parody that he gave, where he didn't even read it, he gave his own spin on it, which you can look it up. It's so hilarious. It's not even. It's just crazy how they just want to misrepresent this, and again, it bugs me because I wouldn't want to see this on the Republican side. The Republicans are doing this, I'd be just as outraged and just as, disturbed by this because you have a Democratic Party with flexing this power that if they can do this to a sitting president, imagine what they can do to anybody. And that's the scary part. This goes beyond just the president, but it goes beyond even to us, the people who we elect, who our tax dollars go to pay for their salaries, pays them to represent us. Yet they want to disrupt what or undo what the voters voted on. It doesn't matter how you didn't like the election. Fine, if you want them out, like I said, want him out of office, let him fail and elect him out, or deal with him for another 4 years. But he's not going to be there forever. But here's what I want you to look at: that call that we talked about. First of all, there was no aid mentioned in the call. It was actually a purchasing, statement that was made that more of the specific types of missiles were going to be purchased, and so Zelensky brings this up. That's what's interesting because there's no aid mentioned here. It was actually a buy, a purchase. Whereas this, he says, we are ready to continue to cooperate for the next step. Specifically, we're almost ready to buy more javelins from the United States for defense purposes. So he's talking about a purchase, not aid, not something being held up. They're looking to buy more. Okay, great, purchase more. This is not talking about aid or something being sent out. That's the other thing that keeps being brought up. Then Trump says this: I'd like you to do us a favor though, because our country has been through a lot and Ukraine knows a lot about it. I'd like you to find out what happened with this whole situation with Ukraine. They say CrowdStrike. I guess you have one of your wealthy people, the server. They say Ukraine has it. There are a lot of things that went on. The whole situation. I think you're surrounding yourself with some of the same people. I would like to have the Attorney General call you for your people. I'd like you to get to the bottom of it. As you saw yesterday, that whole nonsense ended up with a very poor performance by a man named Robert Mueller, and an incompetent performance. But they say a lot of it started with Ukraine. Whatever you can do, it's very important that you do it if that's possible. Where's Biden mentioned? Where's the do me a favor, dig dirt up on Biden? Biden's not even mentioned in this whole paragraph right here. This top paragraph, which I don't know if you can see, but this whole top paragraph, he's not mentioned. What I just read to you, nothing in there says, do me a favor, dig up dirt on Biden. I need dirt on him. Find out what you can find out. He's talking about the server based on what happened with the whole, emails and possibly with Hillary Clinton and the whole DNC's, the server thing, this whole thing that was going on. He was looking for that to find out what happened because they believe that's where it might have started. Nothing with Biden was mentioned there. Nothing. In fact, Biden's not even mentioned till a page after. So Zelensky makes his comment, which is a very long one on here. As you can see, it goes a whole page, and Biden is still not mentioned in this whole entire page. Okay, so when is Biden mentioned? Well, flip to another page, and he mentions the other thing, President Trump. The other thing. There's a lot of talk about Biden's son, that Biden stopped the prosecution. A lot of people want to find out about that. So whatever you can do with the Attorney General would be great. So they want to find out why Biden did the quid pro quo with fire that prosecutor investigating Ukraine within 6 hours. You're not going to get your money. He wants to know about why he wanted that prosecutor fired. Legitimate question, at least in my mind. Biden went around bragging that he stopped the prosecution. So if you could look into that, sounds horrible to me. That's all he said. So there was no dirt mentioned in the initial do me a favor. Nothing. Biden wasn't mentioned at all. I didn't find it. Again, you can read it for yourself. That whole section. In fact, it wasn't until the next page, probably a whole section, two paragraphs later, until you find, or maybe by the third paragraph, that you might find the word Biden in there. So again, Adam Schiff is lying again, unfortunately. And again, if this was a Republican, I'd be saying the same thing. This is ridiculous. The fact that it's happening to a sitting president who I personally am not fond of personally, but he is the president. Let him do his job. If he fails, get him out of office. If he doesn't, let him continue, but he'll eventually be gone anyway. So I don't see the problem with this. There's no quid pro quo here. There's nothing in here about Biden. But if you watch every news media outlet, just watch CNN, MSNBC about this, even the last few weeks. Go back on YouTube and check it out. Their whole issue is making up or making up a different scenario in this call. That he called to get dirt on Biden, that he asked for a favor to get dirt on Biden. I just showed you there is no mention of Biden in that do me a favor. It was all about CrowdStrike and the server. And please look into it. The whole Robert Mueller nonsense that ended with a very poor performance, he says. Whatever you can do, it's important that you do it if that's possible. Even the Ukrainian president came out and said no pressure. So again, more fake and false media lies that keep being put out there. And I don't see the other side pushing back on this phone call transcript saying, show me where it says that what you just said word for word. That the president said, get dirt on Biden, you're not going to get your aid. In fact, it's talking about the purchase of it, not aid, a purchase of those specific missiles in that previous setup before he asked for the favor because he wanted to buy more. This is what gets frustrating, and we can't let this, we can't let them get away with it because it could happen to the other side. Again, if it's Republican, it'd be saying the same thing. You don't want if you're a Democrat, you don't want the Republicans to turn around and doing this to a Democratic president. And just to get back of making up dirt and all this nonsense and all this crazy stuff that they're doing behind closed doors and all this. It's not how we should be as a people, and we are paying for this nonsense. Nothing is getting done by Congress because they're so hung up on this, and we pay them to get things done, to get bills passed, to get infrastructure, all these things that we pay them to do, they aren't doing. It's just it's lost for words. So again, share this if you like it. Please share it. Create your own We the People news. Show your frustration on this. Spread it out there. Make this go on not just for my video but yours also. Don't be afraid. Get out there and express it because without our voices being heard, this will continue in the corruption within our own government, and we're paying for it, even though it's our taxes and we have to pay for it. We're being, we have no choice, but they're using our money, our taxpayers' dollars, to do this nonsense and waste time. So again, it's got to stop. So this is We the People reporting. Again, like, subscribe, and share if you and become a voice with us. And again, I want to say thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.